Hey everyone, and welcome back to CodeMechanic. Let's break down what's happening. The B0121 code is triggered when the Airbag Control Module, also known as the SRS, or Supplemental Restraint System Module, detects an issue in the electrical circuit for the driver's side airbag. This could be an open circuit, a short circuit, or a high-resistance problem. The module is constantly monitoring these circuits, and if the electrical readings fall outside the expected range, it flags the fault and triggers the warning light to let you know something is wrong. So, where do you start looking for the problem? The most common culprit for this code isn't the airbag module itself, but the wiring that leads to it. The side airbag is, of course, located inside the driver's seat. Think about how much that seat moves, sliding forward and back for different drivers, maybe even tilting or adjusting height. All that movement, over thousands of miles and years of use, can put a lot of stress on the wiring harness that runs underneath the seat. This is exactly where our diagnosis begins. The first and most crucial step is to disconnect your car's battery. I can't stress this enough. We are working with the airbag system, and you absolutely must power it down completely to prevent any accidental deployment, which could be extremely dangerous. After disconnecting the battery, it's a good idea to wait for about 15 to 30 minutes to allow any residual charge in the system's capacitors to fully dissipate. Safety first, always. Once you're sure the system is depowered, slide the driver's seat all the way forward and tilt the backrest forward as much as you can. This will give you the best possible access to the area underneath the seat from the rear passenger foot. Get a good flashlight and start inspecting the wiring. You'll be looking for a specific harness that runs from the vehicle's floor up into the bottom of the seat. Pay close attention to the main connector, which is usually a bright color like yellow or orange to signify that it is part of the SRS airbag system. Carefully examine this connector. Is it fully seated? Is the locking tab engaged and secure? Sometimes something kicked under the seat can knock it loose. If it looks okay, disconnect Italiano. Inspect the pins and terminals inside both halves of the connector. Look for any signs of corrosion, which looks like green or white crusty buildup, or any bent or pushed out pins. If you see any corrosion, you'll need to clean it carefully with a specialized contact cleaner. Next, trace the wiring harness from the connector up into the seat upholstery. This is where you'll often find the root of the problem. Look for any signs of chafing, where the wire's insulation has been rubbed kriadavadad, away from constant movement against the seat frame or other metal parts. You might see exposed copper wires. Also, check for any pinched or stretched wires. A wire that's been stretched via lancia tight can break internally, creating an open circuit, even if the outer insulation looks perfectly fine. Gently flex the harness and feel for any stiff or brittle sections, which can also indicate internal damage. If you find a damaged wire, you have a couple of options for the fix. The ideal solution is to replace the entire seat wiring harness. This is the most reliable repair and is what a dealership would typically recommend. However, depending on the vehicle, this part can sometimes be expensive or hard to find. A more practical and common repair, if the damage is localized, is to carefully repair the broken wire. This involves cutting out the damaged section, splicing in a new piece of wire using high-quality butt connectors, and then using heat shrink tubing to seal and insulate the repair properly. Never, ever just twist wires together and tape them up, especially on an airbag circuit. A poor connection can create resistance and cause the fault to return, or worse, fail when you need it most. After you've completed your repair, or if you couldn't find any visible damage, the next step is to securely reconnect the main underseat connector. Make sure you hear and feel it click into place, and ensure the locking tab is fully engaged. This lock is there for a reason, to prevent the connector from vibrating loose. Now, you can reconnect the car's battery. Get in the car, close the doors, and turn the ignition on. Watch the airbag warning light. In most vehicles, the SRS module will perform a self-check, and if the repair was successful, the light will turn off after a few seconds. If the light stays on, you'll need to use a scan tool that can read and clear SRS codes to erase the stored B0121 fault. After clearing the code, cycle the ignition off and on again to see if it returns. If it does, you may have a more complex issue, possibly with the airbag itself or the control module, and it might be time to consult a professional mechanic. But in the vast majority of cases, A thorough inspection and repair of that underseat wiring will solve your B0121 code. It's a common issue that just comes from normal wear and tear. That's a wrap on DT. CB0121. I hope this guide helps you tackle this problem with confidence. Remember to always prioritize safety when working on the Airbag system. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to CodeMechanic for more DIY repair guides. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.